The first thing I remember isn't the pain. It's the sound. The sharp crack of porcelain hitting the floor followed by laughter that wasn't funny at all. Then her voice calm and cruel at the same time. "Clean it again. You missed a spot." Everyone else in the room looked away, pretending not to see me kneeling there, pretending not to hear the way my hands were shaking. And in that moment I realized something that would change my life forever. People don't show you who they are when they're being watched. They show you when they think you don't matter. Let me back up because none of this started on that floor. My name is Eleanor Brooks. At least that's the name I was born with. For most of my life it carried weight, respect, history. But in that house at that time, I was just the help. Invisible, disposable, easy to humiliate. I didn't always live like that. I was married once a long time ago to a man named Thomas Brooks. We built a life together from nothing. He passed when our son Adrian was barely 10. After that, survival became my full-time job. I worked nights, weekends, holidays. I skipped meals so Adrian could eat. I wore the same coat for 15 winters because his education mattered more than my comfort. And somehow it worked. Adrian grew up smart, kind, driven. He built a tech company that exploded faster than anyone expected. By 40, he was a household name in business circles. Wealthy, respected, powerful. So when he told me he was engaged, I was genuinely happy. Or at least I wanted to be. Her name was Cassandra Vale. Elegant, beautiful, always perfectly dressed, perfectly spoken. Round Adrian, she was affectionate, charming, generous. She held his hand, laughed at his jokes, talked about building a future together. Everyone loved her. Everyone except my instincts. I noticed the little things. The way her smile vanished the second Adrian left the room. How her voice hardened when she spoke to waiters, drivers, assistants. How please and thank you disappeared when there was nothing to gain. Adrian never noticed. Love can be loud like that, drowning out quiet warnings. I tried to talk myself out of my doubts. I told myself I was being protective, old-fashioned, paranoid. But one thought wouldn't leave me alone. If she treats strangers this way before marriage, what happens after power is permanent. That question haunted me. So I did something most people would call crazy. I decided to disappear. I told Adrian I wanted to stay closer to him for a while, that I was lonely. Then I suggested casually that I could help around the house. He laughed at first, thought I was joking. When I insisted, he hesitated, then agreed, assuming I'd get bored in a week. He didn't know I planned to enter his home under a different name with no titles, no protection. Just truth. I became Ms. Ellen, a middle-aged woman looking for cleaning work. The first day, Cassandra looked me up and down like I was a stain on her furniture. "You're old," she said flatly. "Don't be slow. I hate repeating myself. No greeting, no warmth, just judgment." I nodded and said, "Yes, ma'am." Inside, something sank. The house was massive. Glass marble silence. Beautiful, but cold. And Cassandra ruled it like a queen who never questioned her right to command. Orders came fast and sharp. "Clean this. Do it again. You missed a corner. Why are you standing? Why are you sitting?" Her favorite word was again, not because the work wasn't done, but because control felt good. When Adrian came home, everything changed. Her voice softened. Her smile returned, her cruelty evaporated like it had never existed. She wrapped herself around him, played the perfect partner, and he believed it. I watched him kiss her forehead, thank the staff politely, completely unaware of the transformation that happened the moment he left. I stayed quiet. I watched. I listened. There was a young assistant named Mia who worked there barely in her 20s. Cassandra treated her like a punching bag. Snapped at her, blamed her for mistakes she didn't make, threatened her job whenever she felt irritated. Mia apologized constantly, even when she'd done nothing wrong. I recognized that fear. I'd worn it myself years ago when survival demanded silence. Things escalated slowly then, all at once. One afternoon, Cassandra invited friends over. The house turned into a stage. Laughter, wine designer bags everywhere. I served drinks quietly, moving in and out like I didn't exist. At one point, Cassandra lifted her glass, paused, then tilted it deliberately. Red wine spilled across a white rug. Gasps filled the room. She turned on me instantly. "What have you done?" she shouted. All eyes landed on me. My heart pounded. I knew the truth, but truth didn't matter there. Power did. "Kneel," she said. "Clean it, now." I hesitated for half a second. Then I knelt. My knees hit the floor hard. The room felt heavy, uncomfortable. Some of her friends looked away. Others watched with thin smiles. Cassandra stood over me, enjoying every second. "That rug costs more than your monthly pay," she said lightly. "Be careful." I cleaned. Quietly. Carefully. My hands shook not from fear but from clarity. This wasn't stress. This wasn't a bad day. This was who she was. That night alone in the small staff room, I cried. Not because of humiliation. I'd survived worse. I cried because my son was about to marry cruelty wrapped in charm. I didn't stop the test. If anything, I leaned into it. I wanted to know how far she'd go, and she went far. She overworked me deliberately. Repeated tasks until my body ached. One morning, dizzy and feverish, I sat down for a moment. Cassandra walked in and scoffed. "Drama," she said. "Get up." I tried. My vision blurred. The next thing I remember was the floor rushing up Mia screaming my name. I woke up in a hospital bed, exhausted, dehydrated, barely conscious. When I opened my eyes, Adrian was there. No suit, no confidence, just fear. "I'm so sorry," he kept saying. I should have noticed. I wanted to tell him everything. I didn't. Not yet. What finally broke everything wasn't my words. It was evidence. Adrian checked the security footage he'd never bothered watching. Cameras don't lie. They don't soften. They don't care who you are. He saw Cassandra's voice change, saw her knock over that glass, saw her smile while I knelt, saw her threaten Mia, saw the pattern. When he confronted her, she didn't apologize. She attacked, claimed everyone was exaggerating, called it discipline, management, necessary. Then she made her biggest mistake. She tried to report me for working illegally, tried to have me removed, arrested, erased. That was when I ended it. When the labor officer asked for my ID, I handed Adrian an envelope instead. Inside were documents, photos, my real name. He stared at them, then at me. "Mom." His voice broke. Cassandra froze. Color drained from her face. She screamed about manipulation, lies, betrayal. Adrian didn't hear her. He was too busy realizing what had been happening under his roof. The wedding was canceled that day. Cassandra didn't leave quietly. She threatened lawsuits, reputation damage, revenge. She followed through on some of it. The case went to court. She painted herself as the victim, until the footage played, until the truth stood up on its own. The judge dismissed everything. Afterward, the house felt different. Lighter. Adrian apologized to the staff, changed policies, promoted Mia, listened, really listened. He told me once quietly I thought love meant trusting without question. I told him love also means protecting without excuses. As for Cassandra, she disappeared from our lives, but not from the conversation. People still argue about it. Some say I went too far, that I humiliated her, that I should have told my son instead of testing him. Others say she deserved every consequence. So now I'll ask you the same thing I asked myself. What matters more, intention or impact? Is silence kindness or is it permission? And how do you treat people when you think no one important is watching? Tell me what you think. I want to hear it. Because these stories don't end when the video does. They live in the choices we make every day.